Do you have enough client work? Are you writing and connecting and doing billable work, or are you dicking around on the internet doing podcasts and videos and just feeling around in the dark? Hey, this is Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. And I know this is the message you need, not the message you want, but ultimately, the internet is a siren of seduction that draws people into useless activities. Now, again, I work with the psychology of systems and tools. I understand complex business processes, and I know that the internet is designed to suck people in so that they can see advertising. Okay, it draws you into an environment of novelty, and I know there's business networks and stuff like that, but it draws you into the environment of novelty and conflict in order to have a certain emotional state so that you're more susceptible to advertising. Now, this is great for you as somebody who writes copy, but it's not an excellent way to get customers. It's not a way to get clients because, and I know you guys are going to say, oh my gosh, I get all kinds of clients from social media, but are they really that good? Do they have the attention span long enough to work through a decent sized project? Not likely. So I'm going to share with you what you as a copywriter, marketer, or business development professional should do to get clients. And it's very contrary to what you might be selling to your customers, because you got to sell the customer what they want and then transition them to what they need. So I'm probably, kicking myself in the face saying this, because I'm going to tell you what you need, because it's not getting you what you want, doing it the other way. I'm not saying you're selling stuff to customers that doesn't work, but you got to go beyond getting in the door. If all you're doing is selling social media services, all you're selling is online advertising services, and you're not digging any deeper, then the next guy's going to come along and outcompete you, because the novelty, the social media platforms are cultivating clients that look for novelty, not look for results. So here we go. We start with outcome. What is the outcome you need? How many clients do you need in order to generate the income that you desire? Now, I know a lot of folks don't even know what income you're looking for, but let's say it's $100,000 a year. US dollars, British pounds, euros, rubles. I don't care. Whatever your number is, how many clients do you need to net that amount? This is extremely important. Let's say it's 10. You need 10 clients a month. Maybe that's too many. Maybe that's too few. I don't know. You've got to decide. Next question is very important. Who are those clients? When you're out on social media, all these followers are not necessarily some tight demographic. They're, if you look at your analytics, and I'm not against using social media to test concepts and ideas, but if you look at your demographics, they may not be very specific. And when you start targeting, you lose the novelty. Okay. So what we want to do is identify who are the people that can afford to work with you, who have the needs and wants to work with a consultant, and that can ultimately, put the pen to paper and sign a check to get you paid. Those people are very specific. Once you've identified those individuals, you're not targeting them on social media. You just go buy ad space, because the social media has already collected all the demographics. It's already collected their attention. But again, so have magazines, so have websites. There's places these individuals gather on the internets, but they also gather in the real world. Did you know only 80% of the U.S. population is on the internet? And guess who's not on the internet? A lot of very wealthy people. So sometimes, because I'm in this business and I'm trying to rescue people from the YouTubes, and I'm trying to rescue people from social media, I'll talk to a client and I'll say, hey, did you see what so-and-so's doing? So I'm pointing out someone in their industry who is successful. And what they did, this is what's interesting, is they went and spoke to real audiences, and they took the videos of their real audience and had their assistant put it on the internet. And that has reinforced the value of what they do. And now when a customer approaches them about speaking, they don't send like a CD reel, or they still might, I'm not sure, but they can point them to the website so they can see excerpts and demonstrations of their speaking. And so my client says, no, I haven't seen that. So they have seen the latest cat video. They've seen the latest TikTok. They've seen the latest thought video, but they haven't seen what their competitor is putting out. Now, I don't blame them. They're busy. But again, if you're wasting time on social media, if you are personally interacting with the social medias, then you're burning time on novelty rather than actually getting clients, where you could write, for example, Dan Kennedy's Magnetic Marketing, which is a letter series that goes out offering a special report. The special report sells your services. The letter connects with a prospect. We talk about prospect newsletters. We talk about all these different mechanisms. But a lot of people poo-poo on them, and they say, well, can I send it by email? No. Go get the mailing addresses of your target customers or target clients and spend $1 per person per month and put a letter in front of them. Well, people don't read letters anymore. They don't have the attention span. Well, do you want a client that has no attention span? Do you want a client who's going to, every time some new shiny object comes up, they're going to wander off? No, that's not a good client. You want a client that comes back year after year because they have a solid business. You want a client who focuses on activities to get projects done, who's willing to package some work together. They're not looking for the $99 press release. They're looking for a marketing campaign. That's a really good client. Yes, you might find those clients from time to time on Facebook or Twitter or there's like Rise Network. There's like hundreds of networks. There's no way you're going to cover all the networks. But again, they've collected all that information. They've conditioned the people to give up privacy and provide information. You can now go to a mailing list somewhere, rent the mailing list for a nominal fee, send a letter campaign to them, generate the lead, and now you start building your house media. That's the largest point here, is you want a very specific defined list in-house. Now, if you've written a prospect newsletter, let's say it's 4-page newsletter, and you've written that every month and you send it out, do you think you might be able to get an assistant to excerpt key tips from it and put it on your social media? See, again, it's time value. Your prospect newsletter to a very targeted list of even just 100 individuals is likely to pick up clients faster than waiting for someone to stumble across your YouTube channel, waiting for somebody to find you on Facebook. Again, the novelty of those platforms mean they're going from one thing to another, like honeybees, going from flower to flower, collecting little ideas here. It gives them a false sense that they can do the work themselves. But if you send a prospect newsletter that gives a little bit more attention to the topic, it gives them tips, tricks, mistakes to avoid, customer case studies, success stories, they may never read it. It's possible. You send it out to 100 people and only one person reads it. But the one person that reads it is going to be focused. They're going to raise their hand. They're going to get involved with you. But now you have an artifact that you can hand to your client. Or you can, as evidence, physical, tangible evidence, you can hand it to your assistant, which they can digest it and tweet it out or Facebook it out or whatever the hell that is. If you do presentations to small groups, whether it's webinars, live presentations, it's an hour-long presentation. You can chop that up into 15-minute podcasts or videos. I use podcasting as a means to collect ideas. So I get a question from a prospect. Instead of spending an hour with them, I don't find it, but somebody finds the historic podcast relevant to their question. Could be 3 podcasts relevant to their question. They might burn those to a CD. If that customer is an older customer, they might send links to those. But the key is that I'm not answering those questions over and over again. But if I get a new question or I have a new perspective, such as a customer or client success story, I can then answer that question in the medium so that it's reusable. But a 15-minute podcast is like 1,000 words. So I can also have it transcribed and fed into special reports. I can have it turned into a letter series. I can have a lot of things done, but I only did the work one time. So this is what I want you to understand. You can go rent a mailing list. You can compile a list of 100 ideal clients, and you can send them something direct. Now, I know there's a lot of people listening to this that have not received something directly from me. Well, that's because I haven't been able to determine that you're an ideal client for the services that I offer. And that's very important. Why should I spend money? Why should you spend money on people who haven't been pre-qualified to do business with you? And I know you're saying, well, yeah, that makes sense. I have a limited number of resources. I have a limited number of hours. I should focus those on people who can do business with me. Then why in the hell are you doing Facebook? Why are you on the Twitters? I say block all that stuff from your network. Get a staff person to manage it for you. And if it's not super easy for you to do, then don't do it. Because ultimately, well, even if it's easy, you shouldn't be doing it unless it's in front of clients. So again, I don't have thousands of views on these podcasts. I don't have a successful YouTube channel by any standard. I don't have a bunch of followers on social media. I don't even have a Facebook account. I got kicked off of Facebook anyway. Facebook groups, by the way, are really good. They put people together and you can advertise on them, but do the paid advertising. You don't have to even have an account to do paid advertising. You could just have an agency do it for you or somebody else do it for you. Anyway, my larger point is, whatever you're doing, do it in front of pre-qualified buyers, somebody who hires services like you offer, and do it in such a way that creates artifacts so that you can then syndicate it. You have to understand that you're being conditioned to use these social media platforms to be monitored, to be monetized. You want to get on the other side of that and use them as advertising platforms, use them as research platforms, use them as areas to test, and that's how you get the results. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. I want to thank you for listening and being a part of what we do here. I'd love to hear your questions. Visit me at www.adbriefings.co.uk, and wherever this ends up on the interwebs, if you do ask a comment, if you make a comment, I'm sure somebody on my team will find it eventually. But it's always best to visit our website at www.adbriefings.co.uk, where you can find out about the memberships, and you can just simply go to the contact page and contact me. Go direct whenever possible. Go direct to the client. That's how you grow a business. I know it feels like you're growing it when you're doing something on the social medias, but ultimately, I'm saying social medias and interwebs on purpose because I'm ridiculing these platforms. Anyway, I want to hear about your successes. I want to hear your questions. Thanks for listening.